Evening all. Well, here we are at the end of our series, Top 10 Most Effective People on the Anti-Left. And my choice at number one is President Donald J. Trump. Well, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this series. And stay tuned to the Rhubba channel for more discussion on history, art, entertainment, and politics. And comedy, of course. And until next time, have a good week. And we'll see you in a few days. Okay, all the best. Bye. What? What, you want me to actually explain? I think we're done here, aren't we? It's President Trump. What more needs to be said? Oh, apparently a lot more. Okay. Well, why is President Trump number one on my list? Well, he's there because he actually drives the left insane, and I'm not using hyperbole there. I actually think there's some insane stuff going on with the left at the moment. I mean, I have been very critical of the left because I'm not from there. From that political persuasion, and I'm very critical about some of the things that they propose. But I've never questioned the sanity of most of the left until now. Got to remember that this is a political ideology. The left in general think it's quite all right, sane, and rational to have a day when hundreds of them gather outside the White House and scream at the sky. Baying at the sky like wolves. They think this is okay, a wailing, a gnashing of teeth. They think this is normal. They think it's normal to stop being civil to one another, no matter what our differences are. That the social fabric, that the social contract that says, I will not physically harass you if you don't physically harass me. That we may bitterly oppose each other on issues, in our legislative bodies, in our political forums and the places where we discuss, we may bitterly disagree. But once we leave, right, we just leave. We go back to our homes. Well, apparently not. According to the left, it's quite all right now to go to the homes of your opponents and say, we know where you live, and bang on the doors and threaten to drag them out of town. It's quite all right now to go into restaurants and when you see your political opponents, harass them out of the restaurant under fear of threats. It's all right to go after their children. You don't like somebody who opposes you politically and they've got children? No matter how young those children are, go after them. Go after them. Abuse the children to get to your hated political opponent. This is insane. And furthermore, when years ago, the Democrat Party, this is the Judge Kavanaugh thing. Now, no matter whether you think he is a good candidate or not for that position, Supreme Court judge, the Democrat Party of the past would go, okay, somebody's come up to us with all these allegations, look into the allegation and go, we can't substantiate this, there's a presumption of innocence, there's due process, this isn't going to fly. Okay, this just isn't going to work. So they will have, sort of drop it, or they would have investigated further. But no, in the insanity, they will go with unsubstantiated rumours and stories that they can't verify and put it all in public, put it all in a Senate hearing, in front of the cameras, in front of the world. And then wonder why it failed. And they have written off half of their countrymen, the people who didn't vote for Trump. They can't understand because they're incapable of looking inward at themselves and go, okay, what was it about us that didn't appeal? Where did we fail? Apparently in 2016 there was no failure. The failure was the voter. It wasn't them. It wasn't their ideas. It wasn't their candidate. It wasn't the message they were putting out. Even when their candidate was saying that half of people who say they wanted to vote for for Trump at that time, half of the people who wanted to vote for him were deplorables. They called the places they lived in flyover states, as if they would dare set foot in one of these awful backward communities. Oh, heaven forbid. No, you go from New York, Boston to LA and San Francisco and you do not touch anything in the middle. This was the attitude And they can't understand why the people who they openly dismiss would go to the other side. No, obviously, Trump is such a horrible, horrible person. How could anybody vote for him? How could anybody even tolerate him? How could anybody not want to scream at the sky? And if you don't feel that way, then you're not just an enemy. You are scum to be purged from society, purged off the face of the earth. This is the insanity that Trump brings. Now, in my personal experience, winding back to 2016, obviously I don't have a say in who becomes the nominees for President of the United States. I don't have a vote in America because I'm not an American. Although, funnily enough, the the left in Britain was saying no, the rest of the world and Britain should get a vote because whoever's president of the United States, that's so important, such an important job. The rest of the world should have a vote and have a say. Madness, madness. You're not a citizen. You don't have the day-to-day goings on of America. You don't live in America. You don't live under American laws and American systems and American customs. So why should you have a vote? It's insanity. But what happened was that I looked at the candidate. Now, Trump wasn't my first choice. I thought, oh my goodness, Donald Trump's standing. Okay, he's going to have the celebrity appeal initially, and he'll drop out, and he didn't. You know, there were other Republican candidates who I thought were quite good. I mean, I started off liking Rand Paul, and then I thought Marco Rubio was pretty reasonable, and I thought Ted Cruz was very staunchly conservative. You know, very Republican candidate. And I thought, okay, Ted Cruz maybe. We got none of them. I looked over at the Democrat side and I said, okay, we've got a choice between Bernie Sanders, right, an old gibberish talking socialist, and Hillary Clinton, who's got so much baggage and scandal of corruption and who seems to want the job a little bit too much. But I thought, okay, well, Hillary's got Hillary's got the experience angle, I suppose. But then I saw the way she effectively diddled the Democrat nomination out of Sanders. You know, she manipulated the system to become the Democrat candidate. And so I looked at Trump and Clinton going head to head, and I thought, well, I don't envy the American voter. What a choice! What a choice! I don't think either candidate is particularly good, but you know, poor America. At least I didn't have to think about it. So when I articulated this on Facebook, you know, I was neither one nor the other. I was neither a Hillary fan nor a Trump fan. The amount of crap I got from the left. How could you not be a pro-Hillary fan? How could you not? You know, the fact that you're ambivalent makes you as bad as a Trump supporter. See, I can't take a neutral, nuanced position. And I had friendships that I had for over 20 years. People I was either at university with or I had worked with. People I knew so well. You know, they'd have been to my house, I'd been to theirs. I'd met their families. They'd met mine. And yet I was to be cut out of their lives because I wasn't 100% behind Hillary Clinton and 100% against Donald Trump. It's the insanity. The fact that they would casually tear up a friendship that lasted years is testament to the mania that infests the minds of the left at the moment, and it's all because of Trump. I haven't even got to his tweets yet, because you know, when he tweets things out at first, I mean, I was shocked. Ooh, I don't think you should be doing that, Mr. President. But over time, I've come to accept it. This is a way he does pushing people's buttons. You know, he loves pushing people's buttons. This is something he does, and he's so good at it. You know, I bet he sits around with his chums in the Oval Office or at the White House going, look at this. I bet, let's see how I can wind them up today. And he sends something out, and then he just sits back and waits for the reaction. So that's something that he does to show that the left have gone mad. But one other thing he's done is I will credit him this. Everybody goes on about fake news, and it's becoming a cliche, but at the core of it, there is truth about fake news, because he has exposed the um, the bad practices of the media. I mean, we've allowed them to build up subtly over decades. All these the bad practices, the slanted journalism, the improper research, inadequate research, I should say, of news stories. The shallowness of the news. The news is all about the feels rather than about the facts. And Trump, by going on about fake news, has exposed this. And I'll give you an example, and it's yet another example of insanity on the left. On the day of his inauguration, I don't know if anybody else remembers this, but if anybody remembers CNN's live broadcast of the inauguration day, they had a long time devoted to a panel discussion. They had a group of people in the studio all talking about the various assassination scenarios that would lead to President Obama still being president. And they were talking about, well, Trump would have to be assassinated, and then Vice President Mike Pence, then Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan would have to be assassinated, and then emergency ordinances would have to be enacted to keep President Obama on as president. They were actually having a serious discussion on this on inauguration day. How inappropriate is that? How ludicrous fantasy land is that? This kind of wishful thinking that an assassin would be so good that they could take out the entire Republican leadership on inauguration day. So that the worrying thing is that the previous president would stay on. What? As some kind of dictator, some kind of father of the nation? Until an appropriate time when more elections can be held. Yeah, eventually, once the situation's calmed down, once the security threat is removed, then we might have elections, but only if we can guarantee their fairness and safety. Until then, the President for Life Obama, the left would have loved that scenario. Would hand over to Vice President Clinton at some point. This is madness, and Trump has exposed this. He's exposed the media, and even when Trump does something that is out there, is something that a polite English gentleman like myself would never even consider doing if I was elected to high office. But he does it, and just to watch how the media reacts to it, how they take things completely to level 11, and how they just lose their control from dishonest news to Jimmy Kimmel's tears to the interminable political speeches at awards ceremonies, to the fact that we have anti-comedy now. The left seems to think Samantha Bee is the blueprint of comedy by not telling jokes and as being as unfunny as possible. That is the new comedy. They're leaving people behind. Now, to sum up about where this is all going. Now, I quite often enjoy the sideshow. I'm there with the popcorn going, what are the left going to come up with today? Oh, that's good. That's good. Orcs are racist. I didn't see that one coming. And we can all laugh. But where's it going to go? Because where does the madness stop? Where does the left get controlling and just say to Antifa, clear off? We're not supporting you. You're not on our team. You're just a bunch of thugs, and a bunch of middle-class thugs. Piss off. When are they going to say, Maxine Waters, right, you clearly lost it, get out, okay? Memo to everybody in the Democrat Party, have nothing to do with Louis Farrakhan, please, thank you. Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, Okay, here, read some Milton Friedman. Now go away and grow up. When is the Democrat Party going to get control? When are we going to have a reasonable Democrat back? This is what I found weird in 2016. The Democrats could only choose between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. The Republicans had about 12 candidates representing all forms of right, from wets like John Kasich through to dries like Ted Cruz, and then a complete wild card like Donald Trump. And where was the reasonable Democrat? When the reasonable Democrats come back, yes, I think they'll show up Donald Trump as a kind of loudmouth showman. No, but until then, we're just sitting back and watching the sideshow. But I worry about the long-term safety. I don't worry so much about what President Trump's going to do. I worry about what the Democrats are going to do. What kind of civil unrest are they going to go to? What level will they go to bring the system down? And this scares me, that our civil discourse, the fact that we can disagree, but we can shake hands, or at least leave on a kind of civil nod and respect our own spaces. But I don't know where the Democrats are going to go. And I think maybe the warning with Donald Trump is, if he pushes too many more buttons, if he does too much wind-ups against the left, that they're going to snap. The insanity is going to snap, and it's going to turn into something nasty and ugly. And can we protect ourselves from that? And can we rein back from that? So maybe as Trump goes over the next couple of years, he will scale back. He has already, in a lot of ways, scaled back from the person he was in 2016 and sort of getting on with the job. But we shall see. And I'll leave you on that. There's so much more I could say about this, but I'm already up to nearly 18 minutes. So until then, I am working on a new 10-part series, but in between then there'll be some smaller discussion points. And yeah, see you later. Take care. And I thank you all.